One thing I would like to mention before McFinn starts, we are open to everyone participating as much as possible in this discussion. During this first 30 minutes, though, we have had you on mute in order to make sure that we don't hear everyone's background noise, because there's so many of us, which is amazing. If you have a comment or a question, we have students on the call. For those of you that were on last time, you met some of those students, but there are students on the call watching the chat room. So in the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says chat. And if at any moment you have a comment or a question that you would like to ask either myself or McFinn or Kim, just type it into that chat, and Tori and the other students will kind of give us a heads up, so that way we can all participate. Once the open forum begins, we're going to unmute you all, and you can have a free-for-all in terms of talking and sharing, but we will still pay attention to that chat if that's the easiest way for you to communicate. It will be available the entire time.
All right,
McFinn.
Well, a fine evening to you all. McFinn Levere, you know me. Well, my story started in 2005. And in 2005, my arms gave up. My legs gave up. It was like, what is taking place? So I went to the doctor, and he said, you need a second opinion. I said, fine, I'll get a second opinion, because he was worried about me. And the second opinion came in, and it said, you have ALS, and you have 1.5 years, and you're going to pass away. And immediately I said, no, I have to take that back. I waited till I got out of the office of the doctor. My daughter had taken me there, and I said to my daughter, Sam, he's a liar. This cannot be true. I'm not accepting this. And that was my initial reaction to my diagnosis, because it's a pretty serious thing to have somebody say that to you and for you to immediately believe them. So I did not immediately believe them, and I am so grateful. He was right, but I needed time to ingest what I was hearing. So I accepted what came my way, and then I got angry. Now, there's 2 types of anger. My first anger was, why is this happening to me? Why? And it's okay to get angry about that. My second part of my anger was actually my power. Because when you don't accept something, then you have a different belief. And I had a very strong belief that that couldn't be true. And that helped me for quite a while. But then I really had to admit that I was going downhill completely. And my doctors, I went to the doctor, he said to me, he said, you know, I don't want you to exercise. He says, that is not going to bring you back. He says, I want you to eat a good, nutritious meal, but don't try to exercise. I thought, don't try to exercise. I thought, okay, well, since I can't move my arms or my legs, well, then I thought, I know how to exercise. There's 2 of us. I've got a body and I've got a spirit. And I spent most of my life hanging around with my body, thinking that it was the king of the show. Well, when my body wasn't working anymore, it really showed me I wasn't the king. I was ill. And that's when I tried to open my heart and go inside, because it was the last refuge that I had. I felt like if the doctors say there's no help, then McFinn, you were just waiting for somebody. You were going to pay them some money and they were going to come and cure you. Well, you can give them all the money you want, but they're not going to come and cure you. So that's when I became my own advocate. Thank God, my wife and my friends were all completely supportive. So if you become your own advocate, you can't get much more positive than that. Sometimes you get positive, and sometimes you disappear because you just don't want to deal with it. I almost gave up. I went to my wife. I said, sweetheart, I really can't handle this anymore. I want to have some kind of control. I told her that this is a hard one. If it became any worse, I had made plans to move to Oregon to get assisted suicide. But the only problem with that was they told me I was going to have to wait until 6 months before I was going to die before they would give me those pills. And I definitely did not think waiting until 6 months before I died would be a pleasant situation. So I'm glad that I didn't go that way, because 14 years ago, I would have left this world and I would have missed out on everything in this 14 years. And that's including you folks. So it's nice to feel that you're in control sometimes. But sometimes you're not. So denial, anger, that's what I had until I found out I needed to accept where I was at. I needed to do whatever I could. And then how the hell am I going to get out of this? So anger, there's two kinds. It's very powerful or it's very sad. So use the one that helps you. When I had no arms, no legs, I had 2 fingers left. And those 2 fingers were the most positive things in my life. It's amazing when you lose your legs, you lose your arms, you lose activity, you find something else. You hear about people who go blind and then another one of their senses becomes more pronounced. Well, I went deep inside and my spiritual being that I realized that I was became very obvious to me. So I want to thank ALS. It brought me really close to my spiritual self. You know, everybody's going to leave here someday for some reason. So it doesn't really matter what's going to take you. What I think matters is, what is your attitude when you're being taken? What is your spiritual beliefs that you believe will be there for you when your body disappears? Those are the things, those are the lessons that came to me. One of my greatest lessons was everybody was doing everything for me. And I felt like, come on, there's something I can do for myself. People would feed me every night. And it was like, they fed me like they eat. So one night I said, hey, you know, there's a Lazy Susan in the closet. Can you bring it out here? And I had them set my dinner plate on that Lazy Susan. And I put my nose down and I spun that plate around and I bit that food off of the side of the plate. It was one of my best days. It was like, McFinn, you got some power back. So there are so many difficulties in an ALS situation that you have a basket full of positive possibilities because you have time. When he told me that I didn't need to exercise, I thought, wow, I'm going to have a lot of time to think about this. Well, I didn't really concentrate on my illness. I concentrated on research. How can I get myself back? How can I change my mind? How can I become more positive? Because I was kind of nasty. My wife will verify that. Sometimes you just feel justified that things are so bad that you can be nasty. Well, I got enough people in my life who loved me that my nastiness kind of faded away. And my spiritual being really came into action. So I really want to communicate the most positive thing that happened to me. I lost hope in the beginning. I gained hope back. I lost hope again. And then I regained it. And it was one of the most powerful medicines that I could take. And I took it every day. And I can say, folks, I have my fingers, all of them back. I have my arms back. Life is so precious that I'm here for each of you, no matter what you are going through. Because one of the best things about our group is we become the PALS family. And I'm so glad to be in your family. So when things get really down, and I've been there, tomorrow is coming. You really have to believe in tomorrow, that it could be a better day. And that's what I want to leave you with, is that every day is a challenge, but every new day is an opportunity. And so put the positive in your life. I'm going to stop that. You can put the positive in your life, but I know how hard it is sometimes to put the positive in your life. So just make it a daily errand to see how many positive things that you can find. And the rest of them, it's just something that I had to accept. So therefore, that was my positive take on my illness. And I hope all of you can find some positive little thing every day, because if you find a little positive thing every day, in 7 days, you're going to have 7 of them. So anyway, I love you. Thank you for letting me in your life. And Everything ALS is here for you and me. We're a family. Thank you, folks. Sarah?
I think we skipped Miss Kim though first, but that's okay. I think that was probably the most powerful thing that McFinn could have explained. So I think this is a perfect time for our resident meditation expert to help us out a little bit.
Sure. Okay. So following on McFinn's very positive story, I invite everybody to we're all sitting. So everybody, if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, just close your eyes for a few moments. If closing your eyes isn't comfortable, I encourage you just to find a location in the room where you can just let your eyes gaze naturally and softly. We're just going to take a couple of really calm breaths at your own pace and at whatever depth feels really comfortable for you. And I just want you to think for a moment at a time in your life when you felt a lot of joy, and think about how that joyful feeling felt in your heart in that moment. And use your imagination to expand that joy throughout all of your body, all of the cells of your body. You can just feel it maybe like honey or like liquid light, just going down your arms to your fingertips, down your legs to your toes. Just allow that joy to just radiate to all the cells in your body. And a couple more calm breaths. and we can then transition back to Sarah.
Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
So my name is Sarah. As Michelle said, I am a nurse who's also in med school. But more importantly, I'm the daughter of Daniel Diaz, who had ALS. And through being with my dad, as well as being in healthcare, there was always this need to do more, to find more, to marry the stuff that I had learned through his care of natural medicines and, other techniques, and marry that with what I had learned in school and what I'm currently learning now. And in finding Everything ALS and in finding Indu, it's just awoken this immense passion and helped kind of fulfill that avenue. But more importantly, it's expanded my opportunity to meet other people who are going through this and live their stories and see their stories, and hopefully one day, start to make this major change. So in following Kim's meditation as well as McFinn's story, one thing that we wanted to talk about today was, well, what's the how? Saying I'm going to be positive today is a saying. How do you do that? How do you make this immense change when there are so many things that can make it so easy to be negative in the journey through ALS? And it's very easy, even more so, to get stuck in that negativity. So in order to reinvent and circumvent your mind, to me, it's almost like any other change that the body is making, right? And one thing that I learned when we went through this process was ALS patients have the most immense perseverance, endurance, and adaptability. It is this constant, frequent force to have to change and have to learn. And I think that makes this process a little easier because we are already so used to having to change. So when thinking about making a mind change, a positive mind change, I kind of relate it to making a physical change. I think ALS makes it we almost hyper focus on the physical. What's working, what's not working, what can we do, can't we do? Those are all very physical body things. So because we're so hyper focused on that mindset, why not take the ways that you would adapt a physical body and change them to ways that you would adapt a mental body? Because they're connected, right? Even biologically, the hormones that your brain releases when you're under stress or under saddened emotions, those affect your physical body too. It's all interconnected. It is all one being. So today, I really wanted to talk about the 5 hows of what's the process. And I really want to emphasize the word process. I can guarantee at 8 o'clock or whatever time, I'm in the Midwest, so this is 7:30 for me, but you're not going to walk out of this having made any major changes. I'm going to try and give you tips, but it really is a process just like everything else, just like a diet, just like a lifestyle change, to be fit if you wanted to exercise, talking about. So these hows are a step-by-step. They're meant to be tried and to use some of that endurance and that perseverance to get back on the horse if there is going to be a day that isn't positive. But being willing to try again is really all that's the most important. And it is going to help to make that change consistent. So step number 1, just like in most change processes, is being willing to try. I like to call it embracing the change process. If you're going to attempt to do something new, you got to be willing to put in the work. And that kind of comes with both a happy, like, yes, I'm going to make a change. And it also comes with a little bit of tenacity and the willingness to keep going. So my hope for you today is that after this, maybe the first step you take, and you maybe think, all right, I'm going to take this journey to a more positive mindset, to embracing the good things and understanding that the not so good things come along too. Step number 2 is awareness of your present. So how can you make any sort of change, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, if you're not aware of where you are at this exact moment? You know, right now you could be happy that you're joining a community or sad that something today didn't go your way. But if you haven't kind of given a time and moment to think about that and to kind of put yourself in that emotion and understand that emotion, you're not really going to be able to kind of see how much time you spend either positive or negative. So when we talk about awareness of your present, it's kind of a multiple time of the day activity. Asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? Where am I on the spectrum of happy all the way to sad, anger all the way to frustration, joy all the way to sorrow? Where are you on that spectrum? And being able to name it and being able to maybe determine what specifically about that moment is making you feel that way. And it's important to find that specific, to determine that specific thing causing that emotion in order to bring more awareness to the emotions we go through throughout the day. Number 3 is the tangible, making a habit. So we've decided we're going to do the work. We've trying to figure out where we are on the spectrum of emotions every day. Now we're going to make a change. Something small. No big changes in life occur with giant leaps. They're baby steps. An example that I do in my own life, and I've done it since January, so I can't say it's been a lifelong experience, but it's definitely something that I've tried and learned, and was to find a daily joy. One thing, so easy, so small, that brought me joy, and write it down or think about it the next day. And in the morning, I wake up and I determine what my daily joy was from the day before. And I embrace that joy. It can be something as little as hearing a song that you grew up loving, to embracing talking to somebody or seeing somebody that you hadn't seen in a long time, to even something as simple as spinning food on a lazy Susan and gaining some control of your eating back. Those are all daily joys. Pile them up. You'll be amazed to see after a week, you'll have moments that you get to remember from that month, and you'll have moments of positive embraces to bring to the next month, to bring to the next day. Other tangible habits, meditation. Some people like a daily gratitude, visualization. All these opportunities are designed to work specifically for you, for your body, for where you are, but the primary focus is they're little. But in being little, eventually they're going to make an impact. The body understands change, but it doesn't understand it quickly. It has a stress response. Little changes, little lifestyle adjustments eventually become habits. They become natural processes that just occur. And that change makes a huge adjustment to our mindset and eventually to our physical self because of how connected they truly are. Number 4, and it's probably my favorite, is you're not doing this alone, especially being in this group. Everything ALS has built such a community in the short time that we have been established, and that we will do anything and everything to make sure that that community is expanded. ALS is so isolating. COVID has made it 10 times more isolating for patients, for their families, for their caregivers. But I want you to know you're not alone. If this positive journey can be done with another person in your household, that will help immensely. But more importantly, you can do it with us. We would love to hear about your daily joy or your daily gratitude. But building that sense of community, doing a lifestyle change to bring a positive mindset together is going to be easier than trying to do it by oneself. Again, just like any kind of physical change, it's much easier to kind of make those adjustments when other people are there to support you. And this goes right along with that. And the last one, acknowledging the baby steps. Today, I said a daily joy. That's huge. That's a step in the right direction. It's small, but it's enormous in making a change towards a better mindset. After a week, I've made 7 days of a daily joy. Or today I spent a half hour meditating. Or even more importantly, today, I didn't do any of those things. Today, things didn't go my way. But tomorrow I'm going to make it an effort to complete my habit, or to talk or communicate with somebody and tell them. And that's getting back on the horse. That's in using that endurance, that perseverance to continue to try. These might seem small, but that's kind of the point. This 5 steps isn't to make some jump for tomorrow. It's to make a baby step to eventually complete that jump. I want to say thank you for you guys so much for allowing us to share this moment with you. And I know Indu is here to talk to us, or talk to us more about some survivor stories. I think we have Derek is on the line too.
I unmuted Indu.
Yeah. So thank you, Sarah. And, just wanted to add, Sarah was not only, she's been a nurse taking care of ALS patients, she took care of her dad. And also now she's going back to med school to continue to work with the ALS community. So the passion of whom we all work with as patient advocates, I'm just, we're here. And if everything what you hear is not, what you wanted to hear, you want to go deeper, please let us know. We're here to, help you in any way. So this is not a one-way street. So I just wanted to have Derek, who's on the line here, speak about, he's a long-term survivor, I think many years. And as you've seen, Megvin talk to you guys, he's been 14 years. And, how did he go about training his mind, and where was he? And, the effort that it took him to be, to heal his mind. And I'm going to pass the baton on to Derek.
Thanks, Anu. Just want to check. You mentioned there, said I got about 2 minutes right now, but I will have a chance to speak later. Is that true?
No,
Yeah.
you can go now. You can
Okay, but I have 2 minutes now.
yes.
I'll speak more in the open session.
Yes.
Okay,
And
great.
you can talk more in the open session, yes.
Okay. Just want to say, first of all, I had a lot of difficulty thinking about what to say, because I really don't think of myself as being the type of positive person that most would conjure up in their minds. I also wanted to say I am going to reiterate some of the things that McFinn, Kim, and Sarah have already talked about, but I probably won't articulate them quite as well. I've never taken any self-improvement courses, done meditation, or anything else that probably is associated with positivity. In my case, might be the difference between cause or effect. Many years ago, a friend of mine's mother said she attributed my longevity to my positivity. And I corrected her. I said, I attribute my positivity to my longevity. So I'm really not sure which came first. I don't really know what I would be like if things had taken the usual course, which we're all trying to prevent. But I do hope I would be as brave and courageous as so many others I've met in person or corresponded with online over the years. I have been told many times that I've been inspirational, but I really don't like or want that responsibility. But if others can be inspired by somebody who is not like a positivity infomercial and can be doing well over 22 years after diagnosis, I'm okay with that. Now, I think Kim touched, or Sarah, I forget which one touched on this. I think what's really important is recognizing the difference between accepting and adapting to things we can no longer do and giving up. And I don't think giving up is an option, but we may have to adapt. I know it's easy for me to say this because compared to most, I haven't lost nearly as much function. But I haven't skied, skated, played tennis in over 20 years or ridden a bike in about 8 years. All things I really thought I would be doing at this point in my life. Now, I really think I could still try to do things, some of these things, and probably with a bit of assistance. But now, in this stage of my life, I really enjoy golfing, and I really enjoy playing guitar, and I don't want to do anything that would hurt my hands. So I think subconsciously or consciously, I tend to stay away from anything where I could injure myself and couldn't do the things I still really enjoy. Now, there are some things why I think I'm probably doing quite well. But Indu, if you want me to stop here, I can stop, or I can finish up, whatever you want.
Yeah, I think we can also, continue in the open forum as well.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Yeah, thank you, Derek. And, again, I just wanted to, say the purpose of this, all of us getting together is we want to share some of these, what has been brought up in the meeting. And, in these kind of settings, people say, I want more research on this or more information on this. And we're here to bring those different topics. At the same time, we also want to, I think the power is in all of us working together so we can actually influence the research and also the community who is working on the ALS. So also I wanted to introduce Shelby Sayre here, who's with me on this call. I'm so glad that she joined. She actually sits on the board of Packard, and I'll let her talk to you more about it. And also she's with me on Answer ALS, so we're working on a lot of projects on discovering some of the pathways, through genomics, through omics, and really exciting stuff. So I'll let Shelby just introduce herself.
I need to unmute her. So is it Shelby with an S?
Yes. No, Sayre.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, wait.
There you go, Shelby.
There we go. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be a part of this. And Endu and I were blessed to be able to be a part of a great group at the Packard Foundation at Johns Hopkins University. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. And Endu and I met at our symposium that Packard has put together, and we are in our 20th anniversary of a consortium of a real collaborative effort of researchers that really have gotten together to collaborate on ALS research. And so it's really wonderful that Endu has put this group of both patients, students, and everyone together to kind of understand what we do and what everyone is interested in as well. And I'm just excited to be a part of this and listen and hear. And my story is my grandfather was diagnosed in 1983. He died in 85. And my mother was diagnosed in 2004 and died in 2011. But I will tell you that my mother was this amazing patient who had a great passion, and she took everything that she could to be, she lived 8 years with the disease, and she lived with it. And we were very blessed. We found the silver linings. And I hope that I can add to this group all of those silver linings that you find in what you're going through. And, I'm happy to help, and I want to reach out. And my whole side of it is the Packard Center does collaborative research and efforts, but they are not patient-based. They are really research-based. So we really work and focus on raising money for the research of finding a cure or finding the blocking of the onset of the disease. So Endu has been very involved in the Answer ALS side of what Packard has as their project. And I really want to see that we continue that, and I just welcome anyone to ask me questions. I have lots of little things I can tell you that if you're going through the working and living with this ALS, that I can give you, like little things of a push board to your end of your bed, but I won't go into that. You can reach out to me individually, and I'm just excited to be a part of this. So,
Thank you.
And if anybody
I
has
have a
questions, please, you can participate, you can ask, and also can do it on the chat so we can actually address some of your questions. And like we said, one thing that when we started this, with my husband, when we went through this journey, one of the things that we found was there's not a lot of, there's a lot of research going on, but the researchers are not talking to the patients directly. So that's why we are putting this together, because, like I said in the last week, that, every time I would go to these newer drug development company using, artificial intelligence, ML, as you saw, there's a first AI-based antibiotics that came out, which they were able to compress everything in 1 year that would have taken 7 years. And when I talk to, Recursion Pharma or, Helix, they all are focused on rare diseases using technology. They say, we will work on a disease if there is a very strong patient advocacy group. So when I looked at it, I said, where is the good patient advocacy group for ALS? So we are that group. So we're so glad that, you know, everyone's here, and we have over 60 people today, and we'll continue to, you know, grow this. And please feel free to give us feedback, because we're here. No feedback is outside the scope here. We want to hear, you know, everything you can tell us, good, bad, and ugly. And so that only then we're going to keep improving this. And our goal is to engage the patients directly with the researchers, and also some of the, you know, development that's going on in drugs, so that, you know, all of us are going to benefit from this. So we want it to happen, like Adam says, now.
Excellent.
And,
thank you, Indu.
Yeah, and I think Steve wanted to read out his journey, and McFinn, I'll let you continue.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Steve isn't able to talk today, and so I'm going to read his letter. I believe that positivity is a key to defeating this illness. I have not yet succeeded in my goal, but I am now living 7 years past my diagnosis. I take great hope in the official 44 ALS reversals to date, including Gunther, Mark Manchester, and many others, including Derek Swinnard. They are examples to live by and to learn from. Working with a naturopath and doing my own research has kept me active and positive. I've written a small book about my experience and all of the research that I have done in order to try to figure out my personal pathology. I give away my book for free, and I consider it my contribution to the discussion. It has kept my mind active, and the pursuit of this knowledge has led to some real breakthroughs. ALS is a very complex illness, and there are a lot of factors that can lead to degenerative symptoms. Everyone is different and can be affected by various environmental toxins, pathogens, and heavy metals. You have to figure out what works for you and explore the reasons for your development of symptoms and find ways to resolve these issues. Some people find that the Diaz protocol, for example, works for them, while others do not. You must be the master of your own fate, because you certainly cannot rely on allopathic medicine to solve this for you. As you explore those people that have healed from this illness, you will discover that there are a number of approaches that they use to resolve their issues. There are many roads that you can take, but you must find your own path. This pursuit is what has kept me positive in order to seek the truth. I have spent countless hours watching videos, reading mainstream research, and speaking with other ALS patients, especially those who have reversed their symptoms and were able to regain their life. I have become very close friends with my doctor, and together we have made a number of breakthroughs because of my research. You must advocate for yourself as best you can. I have become dependent on others in my life. At these times, it is not easy, but I refuse to give in to this illness and find hope that others have been able to reverse this. I think Mark Manchester is one of the most miraculous reversals because he spent 3 years on a ventilator and a feeding tube. He has recovered almost completely. He did not give up. He did not give in and was surrounded by people that wanted him to stick around. I believe I can do the same and have never surrendered. I can do this, and one day I believe I will recover completely. We're with you, Steve, completely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we are getting ready for our open forum where we can discuss anything that you are interested in. We have the next half hour open. And is there anything that you would like to add to that, Indu?
Yeah, I think we have a couple of questions here. I just wanted to, bring that up here. I think we have people, someone from Malaysia, welcome. And I think we had someone from India as well. And, so this is Faz from Malaysia, said hi. And we have from all parts of United States. So really excited. And I think we have, some question on, how do you deal with certain stage of anger stage and some shock, that goes with it. But I think I would let that be in the closed forum so that people will feel comfortable asking certain questions. And I think we can move on to the next forum.
Okay.
Great.
So let me
Okay,
go ahead and
folks.
stop the recording right now. We just want to thank you guys for joining with us tonight.
And
we'll stop the recording. And then
and also there was a question on where do we get book that Steve wrote about his journey. We'll send out an email to the group.
Perfect.
Great. Okay, folks.